All right, so this is problem 3.1.49. And the question is, how long would it take to double your money in an account paying 6% compounded quarterly? And so anytime we're doing any kind of financial type problem, you first of all need to identify which formula you're working with. And how you're going to identify which formula you're working with is based on what they're telling you in the problem in terms of whether it's being compounded, first of all, or whether it's simple interest. And then if it is being compounded, whether it's being compounded in a particular time period or if it's being compounded continuously. So in this problem, they tell us that we're compounding quarterly. So that tells us that we're actually using the compound interest formula. And that formula is this. So it's amount, that's future value amount, equal to our principal, or in other words, present value amount, times 1 plus our interest rate divided by our number of compoundings per year, raised to the product of the number of compoundings times the time. Okay, so they're asking us here, how long would it take to double your money? And so that's actually a time. So we're actually trying to find time here. Okay, so and if we double our money, what we're actually doing is we're going from some amount here and it's going to be twice as much here. So it's actually a 2-to-1 ratio. So we can actually just plug in 2 for the amount and 1 for the principal. You could plug in any number you wanted for the principal. You could plug in 500 and then double it and have 1,000 over here. But in anything you plug in, when you double your money, it's going to reduce to a 2-to-1 ratio. Okay. And so then we're going to have our interest rate here is 6%. The compounding quarterly, that's telling us that we have an M of 4, and that's raised to the 4t. All right, now anytime we're solving for a variable that's in the exponent, we're going to have to use a logarithm. And depending on the prerequisite class that you took to get into this class, you may or may not have seen logarithms before. And so this type of problem would not be on an exam because the Math 94 class doesn't require the logarithms as a prerequisite. So some people won't have had that material, but it's still on your homework, and I'll show you how to finish it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just simplify on the inside of the parentheses. So we're going to take 0.06 on our calculator and divide by 4, and then we're going to add 1. And so we get 1.015, and that's taken to the 4t. So this 1 out here is it's just a coefficient. We can ignore it. If it were something other than 1, we would want to divide it out at this point. But since it's just a 1, really what we're looking at is this equation right here. Okay, so now we're going to take a logarithm of both sides. And the whole point of doing that is so that we can bring this exponent down out front. So I'm actually going to use a natural log. And you have a button on your calculator that refers to this. So that would be, on my calculator, it's this button right here, this ln button. You can also use the log button. Both of those will work to bring down the exponent here. So we do have this logarithm rule that allows us to take this exponent, bring it down out front. So we have the ln of 2 equal to 4t times the ln of 1.015. Okay. And so now what we're doing is we're just solving for t. All of this is a product, so I'm going to go ahead and divide by the 4 and the ln of the 1.015 on both sides. This is a little scrunched here. But anyways, our t here is going to be equal to the ln of 2 over 4 times the ln of 1.015. Okay, so when we plug that into our calculator, I'm gonna plug it in using parentheses, and there's so many different calculators out there. You'll need to work with your calculator to see how that would actually work. Okay, it'll be something similar to what I'm plugging in here. All right, so I'm going to plug in the ln of 2. So the ln of 2, and then I'm going to divide it, but I'm dividing it by this whole thing. So I'm going to put parentheses around it, and my parentheses are right here. So I've got a parenthesis, and then I'm taking 4 times the ln of 1.015, and then I'm going to end the parenthesis for the ln and end the parenthesis for the denominator, and then hit equals. And so we get a time here of 11.6, and I forgot to look at the directions on this problem to see what they were asking for how you round this. So they might want you to round it up to a total number of years, but this is years. Okay, so time to double here being 11.6 years. It's in financial math, it's actually kind of a just rough rule that if your interest rate is 7.2%, the time to double is 10 years. And so that's just kind of a general rule. This being a little bit less than that 7.2% then means that it's taking us a little bit longer than 10 years to double. Okay, and that's it for this problem.